you cover shit.
Shut.
Like every Centaur game, the points are made. The rules are made up, and the points don't matter.
Yep. That's absolutely right. The first edition 7C Game Master Guide had 2 rules in it, and the first one was there are no rules, and the second one was cheat anyway. I was like, yeah, that's fair.
Before you guys start playing, I think I mentioned before that I'm doing some
Too late.
changes.
Say hello, internet.
Or
Hello, internet. We're being rude to Jaren right now.
Yeah, sorry. I was already doing the pre-feed with some of the audio, and you were like, before we get started, and I was like, okay, I should probably let him know he's on the internet.
Oh, hi, internet.
You're on there.
Not like he's not used to it.
Yeah. No,
What
like
up,
I said,
Palma Vecna?
I'm changing some of the combat stuff from Scion because after looking through the book, it's weird and confusing now, and there's like speed and some other dumb stuff that doesn't make sense.
Scion is basically World of Darkness and Exalted had a weird baby. So yes.
Yeah. So, and I've already exclaimed how much I don't like the combat system from Exalted. So we're gonna just use regular World of Darkness.
I mean, it depends. For me, it depends on which edition we're talking about. But anyway, message received.
That was they get nerdy in here.
Yeah, whatever. I'm still an Exalted fan. I don't care what anyone says.
Oh, but I was looking forward to learning yet another system.
Game-related kudos. I have been singing your praises, of course, to Glenn about the revamp of the Dresden World of Darkness merge stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And he's actually considering doing somewhat of the same. And so I sent him the very in-depth spreadsheets, and he just was like fanboying over it. Was like, this is really good. And I was like, I know.
That's right.
Duh.
Wait, does that mean we've got the D10 is going to have some play somewhere else?
Yeah, the D10 system has a joke name, but it is not a joke system.
Yep.
No.
Play tested and approved.
Carried us through fucking years.
It is not balanced at all. So, just go with that.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's okay.
Oh my God, we made White Wolf GURPS.
I wasn't.
We fucking did. Oh my God.
Oh no.
My GoPro was so broken. Like,
We're fired.
Tony.
no.
You are
Oh.
universal world.
Wow, so we didn't start marking.
Wait, did Jaren just say WERPs?
What?
Did you just say WERPs? Or you were explaining GURPS?
Yeah, she asked me what GURPS was.
I thought you had already jumped ahead to, you made WERPs. Good job.
No.
Works with 2 W's.
No, you gotta hit the W in front, the WERPs.
Yep, works. Oh my God.
So, I need to use the bathroom, so I am sorry.
Well,
Wait, I already did something.
Stop being such a Tony, Sally. Gosh.
yeah,
Hey, I already kissed the helmsman, so carry on.
that's right.
I don't know
That sounds
whether
like a
under deck or above.
that sounds like a great euphemism.
Yeah. Kissing the helmsman. Yeah.
But Jenny doesn't understand euphemism.
Yeah, that's right. It all goes over our head.
You can't take the ability if you don't understand the innuendo.
Yep.
That's right. Well, we're already airing at this point. Not that the internet is not used to our dead air, so I will take that opportunity while Sally's on the can to give just a quick recap of what happened last session.
That's right, we lost our scribe.
That's right. The scribe left the building.
I don't know if that excuses her, because I might be on the can right now. No one on the internet can know.
That's right.
True.
Mad respect for not interrupting game time.
Yeah, I don't flush like some people, Rabbit.
Constantly.
Oh, gee.
So after how many years playing this game? Like a year and some. We've taken to boarding a ship this time around.
We're on a boat.
So
We finally
I know.
have nautical
It's on the
combat a year and a half later.
yeah, that's right.
Well, you talk
So, as of last session, we've started sailing away from San Felipe. We're about a week in sailing at this point. Everybody has taken work in some way, shape, or form on the ship. Some tasks more complex than others. For some of you guys, it's just like, I'm lifting heavy things when needed.
potatoes.
Yeah, you're working in the kitchen. That's right.
I will lift all
It's a
the.
bad euphemism for going to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Wait, do you like kissing the helmsman better? Was that was a better euphemism?
Well, not for going to the bathroom, but after about a week on open waters, we've actually seen some ships on the horizon. One clearly Montaigne ship is attacking another ship that doesn't seem to be flying any particular colors. According to Evine, it seems a little one-sided right now. At least the ship that is not Montaigne doesn't seem to be offering more than a token resistance. We're still a bit far, but that did whip the ship's crew a bit into a frenzy. So the captain ordered to get ready, and at the suggestion of her second in command, the ship is preparing to go and ram the Montaigne ship. As the two ships you're trying to accost are currently in cannon range, so we're going to be trying to disrupt that. Marilena has given a blessing to the helmsman, so that ship is going right now. You're coming out of the woodwork.
Pigeons.
Aren't we up to ramming speed?
Oh, yeah.
You're practically just like above the sea level.
So
This is gonna. You're not sure they've actually noticed you enough to take maneuvers yet. Like, they seem pretty busy with what they're doing. So you have some time to take some preparations before we get into combat proper.
We have more action or more. What do we call this? Purchase.
Well, yeah, you're not instantaneously there.
I'm not sure what else I'll do.
Lisa, did you have a question?
So I'm trying to figure out if I'm going to nosebleed or not, because I said, obviously, I was going to be down helping with the cannons, since I could just pick them up and move them on at will. But if we're not going to be using our cannons and we're going to be ramming them, like, I'm stuck under ship. I'm like, do I come up?
Yeah. You would know this. You would know that we're going to put some weight onto a boarding party. So if that notion,
basically a boarding party.
Yeah. If that notion would have made you change where you were on the ship, then you can absolutely nosebleed that.
Okay, I'm going to nosebleed that. I'll be up top.
So, quick out of character.
Yep.
I've been looking for these.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, man.
I didn't notice them right
Milanos.
here. And I saw them in the shot and was like, it was like a magic mirror. Like, that's the thing I need. I just need to reach inside.
If only I'd looked over my left shoulder.
Right?
It's next to some papers. There's no excuse, but it's next to some papers. It blended it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway.
So the front of the ship
version of that ghost shot from every horror movie right now. Instead of a ghost, it's like, oh shit, my Milanos.
We want those.
Does the front of our ship, does it have a like a noticeable ramming spike off the front? Like what's the difference? What's the distance between the spike on the ship to like the edge of the forecastle where, you know, crew normally stands?
There's a bit of a buffer in between. You can tell that this is probably not the first time they're using this strategy because there is a spike and there's a brace up front.
Nice.
Just reinforcing the top of the ship. So, and there's a little bit of buffer space built between the two where the crew will stand. But you see that they're getting prepped with various implements to sort of cross that gap whenever they get there.
I would definitely, you know, still shirtless, grab my axes and stand up.
The assumption is that you're shirtless, like from
That's part of my buff, and I'd get up on one of the railings and just crouch, ready for the impact to launch me onto the ship.
Yep. You
I'm
feel
right next to Rebel. This is gonna happen.
Yeah.
Yep.
You both feel a hand on your shoulders, like somebody has just like stepped between the two of you and is just like grabbing both of you at once. You bet it is Magnus.
Oh yeah.
Also shirtless, and he basically he doesn't say anything. He just like looks at you with like a crazed look in his eye, and then pats you both on the back, and then grabs a gigantic boarding axe.
He's part of two different romance novel covers.
Yep, that's right. That's right. You need the sequel next to it.
That's right.
Cannot be contained to one.
The potential for Viking sandwich.
Yes, he's the gentleman from the north who taught you things you didn't know.
That's right.
Oh my.
You don't get named Magnus for nothing.
That's right.
Hey.
Oh.
My favorite names.
When you get that name, you got to live up to it. Anybody else taking any specific preparations?
Jimena has loaded herself up with her like ampules.
Nice.
And she is standing behind the wrecking crew ready, so that she can board after they've already bowled over the hardest to fight people. Because like they'll take on the big ones and then she'll come in like
a plan.
Perfect.
I think I'm just getting
Dean would specifically not be in a position to launch herself on impact.
Yep.
So instead, I think she would brace and wait for there to be like a navigatable path to get over.
Genia, Ricardo is actually not far from you, but he's not front line. You see that he's basically prepping a couple of his guns, like he's loading 2 of his pistols and sort of like sheathing them. And then he's currently working on a longer musket alongside a couple of the crew who are like setting up some barrels. Probably to provide some cover fire.
And I have to teach that man how to fight with his hands.
Oh, there's the 3rd book in the series.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's just not as good.
It was a spin-off
Right.
with the character
Book
that
3
came
of the
in second
trilogy.
book.
Fight with your hands, Latin man.
Your hands are not just for prayer. They're for hitting skulls.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, sure. Yeah,
That's-
all right.
That's
Yeah,
a
let's go with
good
that.
book title. Yeah, chapter 3. Your hands are not just for prayer.
Yes.
It's gonna get hot in here. Right? Marilena,
Yes.
where are you into this whole situation?
I mean, I'm not going. Probably not going to actually board, but I don't know how far does my pole reach? Is this line of sight?
You've never tested it.
Cool. So I'm going to stand there and see. I'm probably going to throw a bunch of people overboard.
Nice.
I mean, this is one that just came to you.
Yeah.
Like you didn't have a teacher.
True enough.
All right. Before we go into actual impact, roll me another wits and notice.
All of us?
Yep. Everybody who's up top.
Wits and notice.
One, 2, 3, 2. Oh, right. 10s aren't necessarily amazing. Got it. Okay. Yeah.
Only if you have rank 5.
Yeah. Well, even then, a 10 and a 1 don't.
They're singular rays, right?
Yeah.
I got 6.
3 and 2.
Wow.
I know everything.
Yep.
I got
See
2.
the future.
You squint and you see the mainland like a week away behind you.
I know that place.
Right.
Real quick, Rethold is spending his XP in preparation for this fight. And he took hard to kill, so I now have an extra rank of Death Spiral.
Okay. On top
cool.
of that, Rethold, if you want to roll, and anybody who also has sailing,
I think
can
I
throw a
used
sailing
every
roll
time
in
in
there as
space
well.
right now.
Wits plus sailing?
Yep. Unless you can make a case for any of the other.
I can't. Even I don't feel comfortable trying to talk you into panache on that one.
It will come.
What
Don't
about
worry.
warfare?
Oh, I know. Oh, warfare?
Yeah.
Sure.
Woot.
I have
I
no
got
feeling.
3 on that one.
Okay.
All
I
right.
have no sailing skills at all, no dots at all. But I think I just wasted maybe an insanely good roll on my wits plus notice.
Oh.
I have
How many?
12.
Oh my God.
Wow.
I've never. I was just like, oh,
Right, you practically see Fergus at this point.
Yep.
You've joined Fergus in the time stream.
I have 5.
Right. 5?
Yeah.
That's warfare, right?
Yep. Warfare did me well. Sasha.
Half a dozen for wits plus sailing.
That's right.
I have to figure out what's wrong with my cat.
You're there and you're not petting her.
What do you want?
Yeah, mood.
Goodness.
Okay. So,
I am the ocean.
yes, so you are. On the wits plus it becomes apparent that
The cats are rising up in revolution.
regardless of whether they notice you or not, your ship is going so fast at this point, and they're so close to the other ship, which sort of hinders them doing like really quick, nimble maneuvers. Whatever movement they're trying to do at this time is not going to be enough. It's very apparent that you're going to be ramming that like to the backside.
Oh, ramming in the ass.
Yep, that's right.
Front to back, side to side.
Yeah, both
Yes.
of you. For how one-sided this assault supposedly is, they haven't made a lot of progress taking that other ship.
Okay. As in,
They probably should be. They should have more control over the unflagged ship as they do. With the kind of assault they're going, the kind of positioning they got going, you're just like, that's weird. It feels like that it should have been, I don't know, like they should be way further ahead. Could be.
other ship is a plant.
Cool.
John just smiled. They won't let us do it.
It's all right. We got it.
Because some of you have gotten crazy wits plus notice rolls, including Evine, you got 12. Evine, you basically do the Hulk Hogan and
But
you
no one
basically-
sees it.
Yep.
Yep.
So you're John Cena also?
And John Cena.
Right.
Oh no.
You basically get to hear some of that brouhaha up ahead, and you hear the Montaigne ship, like one of the sentries basically caught sight of your ship, and you can clearly hear them since you speak in Montaigne. You hear the immediate panic.
You hear the
Basically. You see one of them like just pointing frantically, and then you hear what you think is, forget them, we need to pull back, we're about to get rammed.
Yeah.
Yes. And as they're starting to pull more of their personnel to do that, with the thunderous crack and a lot of yells, the spike connects with the backside of the boat. You hear a very satisfying sound of wood cracking and splintering as the crew starts bellowing, led by Magnus, who's now raising his boarding axe way above his head, and he's just like bellowing out as he's jumping with the crack, like he's just letting the momentum carry him. Rethel, you feel the same. You feel the sway of the ship, and the moment that momentum comes in, you're jumping in. And everybody who's boarding, roll me finesse and athletics.
Was that panache or finesse?
Finesse.
Okay.
You could roll panache.
Well, they're the same for me anyway. I just had trouble figuring out what you were saying.
I'm mostly saying for Rethold because I know Rethold is built around panache.
Yeah.
Plus athletics?
Yep.
Can I use sailing instead?
I will allow you to do that.
Oh, thank goodness.
This is not the first time.
That's a good idea.
You for a second, like there's a shot of Rethel's face with that meme with all the equations popping up around his head.
Jen, you got 4.
Okay.
You dick nose. I'm not talking to you.
You. Oh my god.
Let's see here.
That's a good one.
Surprise!
Oh,
appearance.
right. Oh. 1, 2.
Things are happening.
Oh, shit.
Lots of things are happening.
Okay. Come back to Rethold. He's got to do math.
Oh, right, there's a baby in your house. I was like, what the fuck?
What's wrong with your cat?
Sometimes I think the noises he makes is the cat, and I'm like, where the fuck is the cat? Oh, it's George. Okay. Where the fuck is that cat? She just wanted to go outside.
Oh.
I think she's got a friend.
Ooh.
She can go outside.
Yeah. Not in the front yard though, only the backyard.
4.
Yeah.
She tries really hard to go into the front yard, and I absolutely won't. Oh.
I got this many.
This one, oh yeah.
And I might have underrolled one because I hit it with one of the ones that exploded. So, but whatever.
Oh, well, 10 is choice, and you rolled with panache, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Jimena, you said 3.
2.
2.
Yeah, 2 for this one.
Okay.
Would this be considered putting myself in danger to ensure a place at the Allfather's table?
Oh no, yeah, absolutely. Because
I'd be surprised.
you're gonna be rolling in the thick of it right now.
Oh yeah, no. Yeah, Magnus and I are both screaming.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Does this count as going through with a plan, even if it's a danger to myself?
Yes.
It absolutely is.
I don't remember what mine is.
You know, if you miscalculate this, you could have gotten squished in between the 2 ships. Right?
Yes.
They're just thrown off.
Oh no, I have to quickly devise a plan, not tell anybody, and then reveal my plan so I can also get a hero.
I'm not getting one either. I don't think the plan. Or at least I have not yet committed to this.
Right.
All of my shit has to do with being reckless or friendly.
As you're jumping to board the ship, you hear a voice hidden from the back. And it's like, guys, I was scheming, you guys.
I have thoughts.
It was me all along. I planned to hear really well, and I did.
You get a thumbs up without looking back from Rethel.
Had it all planned out. You just didn't know about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you planned for the tanks to jump in without thinking. Oh, you're a real mastermind.
Yep. I think my other one is along the lines of like going against a plan to uphold my values.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, don't do that.
No, like okay. It hasn't. I haven't really had occasion to use that yet. So other than possibly not killing that guy.
If it's destiny, I don't know if this is destiny yet. I haven't gotten to that point where I feel like it's destiny.
You're leaving that to the Northmen.
Pretty much. I'm just gonna pull people overboard. It's gonna be fun.
All right. The ships collide, and you hear the creak of that Mortang ship. Almost a whine of protest from the ship itself.
Yes.
As your ship is now embedded to it.
Jokes.
Some
Jokes.
people did try to jump from the other ship back, but now that the ship has moved, they miscalculated their jump. So at least 3 people have now jumped overboard in their attempt to go and reman their ship.
This is detrimental for them. What are they doing?
Jimena, you see this whole like mess happening down there. Like everybody's just like jumping, and there's like wood splintering everywhere, and you just see the chaos. And you just grab a rope and basically just swing overboard. Like you wait for the cloud of chaos to come in, and you're like, I don't need this. And you just like swing and land on the deck of the other ship, close to 2 Mortang Marines who are basically surprised. You just land right next to them.
3-point landing.
Yeah.
Hola, motherfuckers.
Genya,
Let's prepare to die.
Genya, you use the ship's momentum to launch yourself over the gap and over the spike.
Yes.
And you land right next to where the spike is hit. You feel the very satisfying, like, you don't even roll. Like you land on the deck just flat, right? Like squat in a ball. Like it makes a huge noise.
Yes. I am a cannonball.
For a second, you can see in the face of the Mortang close to you that they think somebody just threw a barrel on board of something.
I mean, sort of.
And it's like, oh shit, it's not a barrel, it's a woman.
And as I stand up from my crouch, I'm suddenly holding 2 hunting knives, and I'm like, let's go, bitches.
Right.
A superhero landing.
You've been waiting for this.
Excited.
Oh.
And almost as if to impact your arrival, the spike is right behind you, so you get showered with wood splinters. You and everybody around, like there's dust and little pieces of wood flying all over the place. And
this is why I fight with my shirt on.
Yep.
You don't get as many cool scars, whatever.
It takes you a few seconds of doing mental math. You're like, I don't even need to figure out the physical part of this. I know these ships.
Yeah.
I know what they're gonna hit. I know exactly how this is gonna play out. And you leap almost without friction immediately at the right moment. And you land just after Genya makes her entrance. There is a huge noise as the spike hits, and suddenly the dust of the hit clears, and as the dust and smoke clears out, there is a gigantic shirtless silhouette standing where the spike has hit, right at the tip of the ship, axes in hand. Immediately, 2 Marines leave. They basically fuck off near the other end of the ship. They're too close to that bullshit. There's a giant man that came out of the dust. He's not wearing a shirt, and he's loud as shit.
They hit us with a man.
To them, it happened so fast that it looked like you might have been riding on the spike. They're not entirely sure.
Your interest doubled as intimidation. Great.
I mean, he rolled with panache, and he rolled 10 fucking raises.
Zhenya and I were the payload.
Yep.
Yeah, they're not. You calculated your lead so well that, contrary to Zhenya, you didn't make a sound when you landed, which again reinforced the idea of like, is that crazy Veston man? Was he riding on the spike? He's just like, because he's just ready to ram our ship. And as you make your effect, Magnus leaps on board with just like a bellowing cry, and he's just yelling in Veston a ton of obscenities about what he's about to do to all these Montaigne waifs.
Yes.
Which doesn't help the overall morale.
Or it does help, depending on your perspective.
That's right. Depends on which side you're in. But if you're on that Montaigne ship, your day is fucked right now. All right. Now with that, the rest of the boarding party sort of jumps aboard and everything sort of erupts into chaos. Before we go into approaches, roll me another wits and notice for everybody, just to get the lay of the current situation.
John, I'm going to ask for another panache plus saline because I don't care to know what's going on. I just want to know where I need to go. Like just the instinct, you know what I mean?
Yep. Okay. You let that take over. You're going to be like, we need to take the ship. Here's how I'm going to accomplish this.
I got 5.
5?
I got 8.
Wow.
Wits and notice aren't Zhenya's thing. So 3 is the best she's gonna get.
Yep. Well, you're in the thick of it, so you have an excuse.
Yeah.
Do math. All right. All right, so that's 15. That's 15.
Did Aveen roll? What'd she get?
15.
Oh,
8.
of course.
8.
9.
Muting myself because I think that I'm causing an echo, maybe.
If you are, it's yourself. Oh, actually, yeah, I heard it just then.
I was like, if it's not you, it's me because I'm not wearing my earbuds.
Yeah.
We aren't either.
We're not either.
I rolled. I heard like a little tiny feedback craziness. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
But yes, 8.
I'm also open air, so if something like that starts happening, let me know.
Yeah.
2, 4, 6, 8. All right, 8.
Okay. We have 2 8s. many do you have?
How is the other 8?
Okay. Well, so we have 3 8s.
Oh, never mind.
You have a 5 for Jimena, and then a 3 for Genia.
Hey.
Genia, the situation right now is very, very simple. You're in the dust and chaos. There are Montaigne sailors around you that are still unspoiled. And you're very intent on changing that.
Oh yeah.
Right now they're yelling in their mother tongue. What you can imagine is an attempt to sort of rally the troops and put some sort of defensive in place.
Yeah, bring more.
That's right. They're pretty much like, this is what you see, right? Like there's so much like smoke and Montaigne around you that this is sort of, you have tunnel vision.
I just see red.
Yep. Jimena, very similarly, you notice very quickly that the ship is sort of in disarray. The crew seems experienced enough that you feel that they're trying to sort of pull together, like there's some orders being barked. You can identify from when those are coming from what you feel might be the captain and the first mate, just further towards the front of the ship, trying to organize things, because you can hear some of the other sailors sort of repeating what these two are saying, and trying to carry that to the crew.
Ransom targets.
Yeah, there's a fair amount of people between you and them, but you get a fair lay of that.
I don't know if it's that soon.
Yeah, and she speaks Montaigne, so she would know what everyone is saying.
It's exactly that. They're basically the captain, who you assume is the captain, and his first mate are sort of relaying orders, and they're basically ordering to cut the ropes that attach them still to the other ship, as there's still a few left in place, so they're frantically trying to do that. You also hear them calling for reserves to pull back the cannons, to pull away from the other ships so they can maneuver more easily. Like there's a bunch. Of course, there's a ship stuck to their ship's hindside, so they're not able to maneuver as properly. You can hear them also yell for the helmsman, who may or may not have gotten injured / killed during the break. You're not quite sure. They don't even know where that person is. All of you have 8. Retold, first things first, you know exactly where you need to be. You need to disrupt the flow of orders. The captain that first mate have the ship's confidence. You can tell immediately that this is a fairly seasoned crew, in the sense that they've served together probably for some time. Just hearing the captain and the first mate sort of organizing them is putting a little bit of fire back in their belly, like they're sort of getting back into it. So immediately, instinctively, you're like, I gotta put a kibosh on that. I gotta disrupt this. And you can see both of them clearly. You see a bearded gentleman in a blue coat, sort of yelling at the troops, and by him, a taller lady in a linen shirt is just like repeating and sort of giving orders to, like, this is the head right there.
Can we all see that? Like all the states?
Well, all of you have 8. I'm just doing Rethel because he rolled a bit of a different roll than you guys did. He rolled it with sailing.
Okay.
But yes, you all can identify these 2 as the leaders. The rest of the 8s, you also see that the other ship is sort of watching this happen. The people on board look distinctly crescent. And they're not, they're sort of letting this like play out, like they're letting themselves like, sort of drift apart. They don't seem to be in a full panic. They seem fairly composed for having been on the receiving end of a boarding. But outside of that, they don't seem intent to add to the chaos. They're sort of like letting this play out. You do hear...
Are they trying to leave actively or just watch?
They're doing maneuvers to sort of step away. They're not hauling ass out of there, especially because you're too close at this point, and they risk sort of bumping into both of the other ships if they don't build some distance first. They seem to be talking between themselves. Evine, you speak every language, so in Crescent, you hear a lot of like, who are these? I don't recognize that banner. Like, what did this ship? Like, what were they? And you hear like a couple like nervous laughs on there, and it's like, well, I'm not gonna question it. As they're basically like sort of maneuvering to move away. You notice that even if you don't know too much, and Rethel, you would have noticed that with your sailing roll too. There should be more Moloteng on board than they are right now. You did see a few of them just fuck up their return to the ship and go overboard. So a few of them are probably in the water, but either they lost some people in that raid, or some people are still in the other ship and haven't come back. Either or.
All right.
So that's a little bit the sit rep right now. So with that, give me your approaches.
So Retheld, as actually a ranged character, is actually going to. So, do I get to keep any of the raises I've gotten previously, or am I starting fresh
for the approach? For this new approach, but the number of raises you got previously will actually help this maneuver.
Okay. So cool. Then I won't keep track of those. And I have 2 axes and there are 2 officers. So that makes good math to Rethel. So I'm basically going to brawn plus aim and probably split the raises and hang on to 2.
Okay.
Let's see here. So that's how I'm going to proceed. I'm going to roll that up.
Yep.
2, 3.
I really just need a point of it. He looks like a good one. Do I know?
There's somebody standing close to Jimena right now who could probably put in the water.
I mean, like maximum like bowling over damage.
Well, there's a crew forming on that side, so you can try to grab somebody and pull them into the rest of the group.
Yeah, I want to like bowling pin this situation. Reverse bowling.
Okay.
No 10s, really.
Jimena is going to head for the crew members that like the captain and the first mate were yelling at to like loose the ropes, like to try to get them away from the other ship, because she doesn't want them to do that. So she's gonna go over there like sword drawn.
Okay.
Engage with them so that we can keep the two ships stuck together so that this ship can't go anywhere.
Perfect.
What do I roll?
So that would be...
You're going to be taking action on those, so let's go with finesse and weapon.
Yeah.
Or drawn, right?
Yeah.
For you...
It's hard to make a roll for a pole.
Well, I feel like it's a combat maneuver. You're trying to focus on a specific person.
Right. I mean, you could just make your warfare and all this roll with by itself.
Yeah.
Can I look at your scholarship? Math it.
Yeah, like you could use scholarship or warfare. Yeah, I'll let you use either of those.
I have 4 for mine.
4? Okay. All right. Zhenya, I have a feeling I know what your action should be.
I mean, my action is. Am I actually saying something? Okay, yeah.
Yes, I hear you.
I had it on mute a second ago. Wait, did I unmute it? Okay. Zhenya is going to be using a hero point for strength of 10, as well as using Riot Breaker, because I'm better in a crowd. And I'm just going to go in there with my hunting knives and knock as many of them as I can down at once.
All right.
All right.
Stop that.
Oh, that's 7.
Those are contagious.
Yes, they are.
Hi.
Brawl, Zhenya.
Yep. Brawl and Intimidate?
Brawn and Intimidate, or Brawn and Brawl?
Yeah. Let's see. 3, 5, and 5 more. Do I get to use the sets of 15 as 2 raises if I have 5 in each of them?
Yes.
Woohoo.
Yep.
You even get the re-rolls.
Yep. You get the exploding 10s.
8, 7 make 15. I didn't roll any 10s. That's 10, 15, 7 and 5 is 12.
And Evine?
16. No, 2, 4, 6, 8.
8.
Evine is going to sneakily get herself over to the other ship and perhaps climb like a mast or something, so I can get a good shot, aerial shot at the
Definitely
some leaders.
Yep. Roll me finesse and stealth to get in position.
Okay.
Sold, how many raises did you get?
10.
Are you still working on that? 10? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But I'm going to split them up when I get to it, so
Yep.
I don't know if that pushes me back or not in the order.
No, I think we go by total, and then we'll figure out how to resolve that.
Cool.
No 10s at all this time. Wasted on that 12 raised roll.
Oh, yeah.
You're using a calculator?
You stealthy.
Well, you've gotten to that point.
Seven.
Get 7? Okay.
Damn it, Rabbit. I'm staring at your Oreos. Now I need some.
Well, I will, before we resolve this, I will read you the next one. So if you want to take an audio pause.
Oreo break.
It's true. I saw a meme somewhere at some point and all of this craziness that was like, if you're worried about gaining a few pounds in quarantine, you're living through a pandemic, have a cookie. I was like, cool.
I see that. I see. That's totally permission. Let's go.
I don't know if I think I'm just going to go net even because we're actually, making our own food now. So it's not like a bunch of saturated eating out all the time.
Yeah.
And we're trying to resist eating at like chain restaurants and like actually ordering from local businesses because I'm like, I want those businesses to be there when this is over.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Oh, JC and I actually made a. Yeah.
Oh, I was just gonna say I think I'm eating any differently than I was before since we still Costco runs.
Yeah, JC and I made a cheat sheet of local places that we thought up that we're adjusting that I've been meaning to share actually. So maybe after this I'll remember to post that in like Discord or whatever if anyone wants to join in. Rabbit.
Cool.
Unplug my headphones.
Lisa, are you working on your vampire character while we're playing 7C?
I don't know what you speak of. I'm not working on it. I'm just trying to get shit to, because right now I have the PDF and I can't jump to certain pages, so I have to scroll.
Yeah.
And I don't like that, so I'm just trying to set it up that I can put it in a reader, so I can actually jump to page 46. I'm not working on the character. I'm just trying the PDF to work the way I want it.
It's still adjacent, at least.
Yeah, but I'm paying attention.
Thanks for reminding me. Actually, I'm having JC print things out tomorrow.
Yeah. I'm doing 7C and just also trying to get that to work.
Oh, I don't hate. I'm jealous. I'm like, that's what's up.
Look at me multiple.
Hey, why can't you just do that? Oh, because you're running it. Never mind.
Well, apparently version 5 has a different building system than all the others.
Oh.
No, it's fine. The core build is still the same. You're like this many dots in this and this many dots in that. But much like with the D10 system, outside of those core points assignment, things are a little different. So I still need to.
Still disciplines, or is this a totally different?
No, there's still disciplines, and but they sort of broadened what disciplines can do because there were so many resources, and they tried to streamline them a little more.
Right.
So I'm basically just going to build a bunch of the NPCs I already have set up in the setting, and teach myself how to do it.
Wait, are we building 5th edition characters?
We're not. I don't know what they're talking about.
It's it's work game.
Yeah, it's for a work game that they work.
I work
Vampire 5th edition.
Yeah, no, I understand.
No, yeah, he knew you were talking about Vampire. He just didn't know that you guys were talking about your work game, and he was like, "Wait, what?"
Later.
We're not including.
We'll get there.
We decided your feet are funny.
What was that?
They decided something about you was funny. I didn't hear the first part.
Oh, okay.
I said
feet.
I said his feet were funny. We don't want to play with him.
Yeah, but to you, all feet are funny. That doesn't count.
It's true. Mm-hmm. That's true. Where did it go?
I kind of want to make a 5th edition vampire character, just to know what it's like.
Where did you guys come from? No, get away! Stop! Nobody fucking asked you. Is that no? That's no. Oh my god! It's...
No, I'm not gonna have enough for cereal in the morning.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's
I
okay.
have to wait until Tuesday.
Yeah, it's my own fault. Maybe you can steal one from the office if it's still good.
There isn't any left. It got all thrown out
Oh,
like 3 weeks ago.
that's good.
Well, like I said, I still haven't heard anything from the vet. I'm assuming I won't hear from them until tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Yeah.
Although I'll have the car.
Well, if she's still not good tomorrow, then, we know we can take her in.
Huh?
Oh, hey. It's a whole lot of Rhea.
What was that about? She's still not good tomorrow?
Oh, so many eggs off.
Oh, you're so mad at me.
Deal with it, cat.
It was like Masha would. She'd be screaming.
She doesn't resist. She just looks at you to let you know that she is very upset.
Oh, Sasha doesn't resist. Just it's like the
Somebody blowing into the mic?
No.
I hear it too, Sally.
Okay, that's not just me. Good to know.
I'm like Amanda's frozen. You're moving. I don't know. That's weird.
Anyway.
Noticed kind of a sudden lag all around.
Oh, we heard like a weird like someone was blowing into their mic.
Yeah, I heard that too, and I was on mute.
The
so it wasn't
answer,
me.
my friend, is blowing.
My
in the
computer
wind.
is. I guess it's okay. The fan has been running
Oh, okay.
because it's kind of having a bad day. Maybe I should
My
turn
lap-
on my air conditioner.
My laptop is also making a whirring noise. So I'm wondering if it's getting picked up by the Yeti.
Oh, maybe.
Could be.
Because I muted myself for a second while I yelled at JC, so
Maybe that's what it was.
yeah. I forgot to set levels before we got started, so we got some nice ambient noise.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
It was actually not loud. It was just like, what is that though?
It sounded like someone had left a window open and like the air was blowing past a microphone.
Something like, yeah.
Just pretend you're in that main hallway in high school.
We didn't have one. I went to Independence. It was all outside.
I'm sorry your school was too poor to have a hallway.
What a time to step back.
We had 2 buildings, if I recall.
What East Side schools have are called breezeways.
That's true. They are called breezeways.
Yeah, we have breezeways, not hallways.
That's what I meant, yeah.
Yeah. Because they're not encased, they're just between buildings.
They can't encase them. There'd be too much violence out getting enclosed in a small space. You have to have open space for the fights to run somewhere.
Yup.
It's a whole extra wall that you can't tag.
At my school, they straight up took the lockers out. By the time I went there, they were like, nope, you don't get lockers either, assholes.
Wow.
We still had lockers, so that's nice.
We did not have lockers.
In my day, you had lockers. We'd be lucky to have lockers.
We had lockers, but we're also old.
Yeah.
You went to a private school.
Yeah, no, they had lockers at my high school, but it's because it would have cost too much to rip those suckers out.
I think Notre Dame got even more like rich and exclusive after we left. Man, they have so many new buildings. I don't even know if the old school is there. If they just replaced every building with new buildings by now.
It's out of control now. Costs as much as college to go there.
My mom went to Notre Dame, and like her big like, the school has changed so much was like when she was there, all the doorknobs were like crystal. And now all the crystal doorknobs are gone. And she's like, what did they do with all the doorknobs? They were so beautiful. And I'm like, no, they can't keep them fucking Victorian crystal like doorknobs forever, Mom.
Now they definitely got rid of all the Victorian stuff.
Yeah.
My mom went to Notre Dame, but she went to the other Notre Dame, the one that's in like Belmont or Burlingame or.
Oh, yeah, I don't even know what the situation is there.
Right.
Yeah. I've never been there, but that's the one my mom went to. My dad went to
Belmont. Presentation.
Now that you've shared the story, Lisa, I imagine there's a hunchback employee that went around at some point at night and just collected all the doorknobs in a sack.
Yes.
You know.
That's what was up on the third floor that you weren't allowed to go into. It was
Sounds like something I would do.
Right? That was his retirement plan. I'm gonna steal all these fucking crystal doorknobs. And then I'm out of here. All right. So, in the chaos, Rethold, you are going first. So, just like the All-Father intended, you step out of that smoke, looking mighty and fearsome, and immediately spot the ship's head and let loose of your two axes, one for each of them. And how many raises are you spending on each throw, and are you keeping any?
So I'm gonna let loose one high, one low.
All right.
The low is going to go 6 raises.
Okay.
And that one's gonna go for the first mate.
Okay.
I want to take apart a piece of that chain of command. And then to let the captain know his number's up, he's going to get 2 raises of the one up high. So that banks me 2.
Okay. Perfect. So, you let loose of those 2 axes and you put a little bit of extra spit on the one going low. And that one basically hits first, and you see the moment of the impact very clearly because the first mate takes a step forward and starts to raise a cutlass to point in one direction. And at that moment, the axe just basically buries in her gut. And she sort of looks up, like trying to search for a culprit. And you're sort of standing there. The other potential culprit would be Zhenya or Magnus. And both of them are elbow deep in fighting at this point while you're just standing there. So her eyes meet yours as you see a trickle of blood come out of her mouth, and she sort of topples forward. Much to your pleasure, you actually see the panic in some of the Marines that were around her as she was mid-order when she toppled forward. So you see that good disruption coming.
Wait, but she just go in one hit?
It's 6 raises. The other axe actually goes to the captain, and you see him sort of look at his first mate and then immediately take a step back. And just in time for him to see the axe coming close to his head. It actually nicks him on the face as he raises his blade to sort of push it out of the way. It clatters to the deck, and you see just like a mark of blood there where it hit him close to the ear. And he looks at the first mate. She's not quite dead yet, but she's toppled over with the axe in her gut, and you see the pool of red starting to come from under her. It's not going to be, probably not going to be that long, but it's not going to be painless. It's going to take her a bit. But he looks at this, and then he looks back at you. He says something in Montaigne and then throws his hat to the side.
I've got 2 more axes.
Yep. And he starts to walk towards you. Yeah, he's got tunnel vision. You see him throw his hat, and you see like a mate basically like grab the hat like from the side, and he looks at this like, oh no, nobody's calling the shots now, right?
Now you are. You have the hat. That makes you the captain now.
You see him look at his captain, then at you, then at the first mate, and he's holding the hat, and he's like, the realization of his situation is dawning on him. His trousers might be changing color as we speak. All right. Marlena and Evine, you're both up. Evine, you basically use the chaos as a distraction, and you parkour your way down to the other ship.
It doesn't count as CL parkour.
Yeah. It's unseen parkour. It's almost like a cartoon intro in the sense that like every time you land somewhere, conveniently something comes and blur you, right?
It's just like in the way.
As if you're trying to, basically air nudity before 9 p.m., right? Like, and there's always a convenient shrubbery hiding the naughty bits, except in this allegory, you're the naughty bits.
Yeah.
There's always something sort of shielding you from view.
Like Wilson's face.
It doesn't take long until you're basically up a mast and are sort of like taking your spot when somebody is actually coming down, but they haven't seen you. So in a very swift movement, you just cut their rope as they get past you. Just extend your arm. Jimena, you actually see this happen, like to your eye, because you cannot see Evine. It looks like this guy is the worst fucking sailor of all time. He's coming down from the mast, and then suddenly he's holding a loose rope, and he just falls on the deck, like right on his back. Like,
he was there a Wilhelm scream.
Yeah, basically. And he's rolling on the deck. Like, this shit has just like destroyed his back. Like, he's rolling there, yelling in pain.
You're the worst sailor I've ever
really
heard.
Hard. And he doesn't know what happened to him. Like, he was coming down, like his mouth is all bloody because he was carrying a knife coming down. So yeah, he's not having a good time, but no reason why. Like, either their ship's mates are really fucking bad, or maybe this guy was new. I don't know. Marlena, are you pouring all 7 of those successes in this attempt?
Yeah.
Okay. So you pick a guy, Jimena, this is not going to help your view of the quality of sailors on this ship, because after the guy falls on the deck, there's some folks like trying to form a perimeter there, and one of the guys just topples forward as if somebody just grabbed him by the coat, right? Like, and just pulled him over, and he topples over his friends, like. And suddenly you got like 4 guys just bowling all over the place, as if the ship just hit a big wave, but there's nothing, right? Yeah, this guy just basically like he was getting ready like in his battle stance, and suddenly like he just tripped, like somebody threw a log at his legs, and he's just like face planting hard. And because he's so close to the other guys, like he just brings the other down with him. You know, you have like the fuck is this shit? Who are these people? Maybe that's why, like in your head in that moment, you're like, that's why they were not making progress earlier, taking over the ship. They're grossly incompetent. None of them have clearly taken it before. So yeah, so you topple 4 of them with your pull.
That's a satisfying.
Because you speak Mortang, like you hear them argue hardcore with each other at that point. Basically, like, what'd you do that for? It's like, I did nothing. Which one of you pulled me? Like they're arguing. 2 of them are starting the fist fight.
Oh, nice.
It's a hot mess.
Oh, this is good. I'm into it.
Echo, play March of the Gladiators.
Yeah, there you go. Play the horse one.
What was that? What was that, Lisa?
Unmute it so we could all hear
It worked.
Or actually, don't copyright reasons.
Can you hear it?
No.
No,
Echo.
but just
your face was good enough.
yeah, just the fact that it worked was beautiful.
Knowing that it happened is enough.
I can't hear it.
Zhenya, are you pouring all of your raises into this?
Yes.
All right.
All eight, all down. Let's go. I want to take down as many as possible right here.
There's a group of 6 Marines that are trying to form a defense picket in front of you. And you basically ram the entire group. You just barrel down into them.
She may be small, but she is mighty.
Yeah, they were not counting on you, like literally running into their swords and not caring.
Nope.
So you basically managed to bring down the first couple. They are basically under you at this point, and you basically put your knees on both of them and grab the next 2 in line.
Yes.
Yeah, basically it's full on wrestling. Like nobody has died yet, but these 6 are pretty much weak. They're not going to be able to do much of anything else outside of trying to push you out, or basically like they're tangled with you. It's like you're maintaining a grapple on all of them.
That's awesome.
Right.
As you do this, you hear a bellowing yell from behind you, and the path that you cleared, like you see Magnus just barrel through, like his pens are on fire. He knocks the guy off the fucking ship with his axe and spins around and buries the axe in another guy, and you're pretty sure he has not taken a breath since he started yelling when the charge begun. Sorry. So he's still going. You see him like even through the yell, like basically like give you like a quick side glance, like a thank you for clearing the way. Now there's a crazy Northerner on the deck with just like yelling his fucking head out.
Get him.
Trying to pick fights. And out of the corner of your eye, as you're wrestling, like you see, you haven't seen the axe throw, but you see the captain hatless walking towards Rethel. And basically, like they're looking right at each other, tunnel vision.
This is happening right here, right now.
Magnus has that good circular screaming going.
Oh yeah, that's right. I'll stay tuba. All right, Jimena. With all this chaos going on, like you basically just step over a guy that has like a bowl down on the floor. You pass close to the guy who just like shattered his back on the deck. And basically make a lunge for one of the guys trying to cut the rope. To what you see, there's 2 ropes left that haven't been cut yet. So are you pouring all 4 of your raises into this?
So there's 2 ropes.
Yeah.
How many like dudes are working on those ropes?
Only 1 each.
Only 1 each?
Yep.
So she's going to use 2 to draw her sword and go for this first guy.
Okay.
And she's going to use the other 2 to grab one of her potions, I guess, at this point, and just chuck it at the other dude.
Okay.
More specifically, chuck it at the ship so it'll break near the other dude.
Okay. All right.
In the video games, we call that an AoE dot.
Yep. Time to see what's in that vial.
It should do one of 2 things, but we'll find out.
I don't know how turning them green is going to help us, but I'm here for it.
Surprise.
What does Jimena think is in the bottle? That's the important piece.
It should either break and be what it's intended to do is to basically like break and be a gas that'll knock him out.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing she has seen it do instead is to just break and be like acid.
Ooh.
So it'll either burn him or knock him out in Jimena's mind. That's what she thinks it's supposed to do.
Okay.
Let's say that's an end.
We're going to have a hanging or a wedding. Either way, it's going to be a great party, huh, guys?
You chuck your vial at the rope who's furthest away from you. And that one, the guy was not quite there at the rope yet. Like he was on his way. And thus he doesn't see you coming. So you hit him with your vial. And it hits him like right in the chest. And for a second, there's just like smoke that comes out of it as he's like patting his coat, right? Like he really is not sure. He starts like yelling and screaming. When the smoke clears, his face has like darkened and he's blind. Like he clearly can't see what is going on. Like it looks like you just maced him. You're not quite sure it's acid, but like something stinging is in his eye, and it takes about like 3 seconds for him to topple himself overboard because he doesn't see where he's going.
Well, didn't do exactly what I wanted it to, but it worked.
Something.
Yeah. It might have been like really weak acid, like you just squirted lemon juice into somebody's eye. It's like in your head, like that's what that reaction was. Like, you know, when you chop an onion and it just decides to fucking spray you right up into one eye, like that's basically it. The other guy basically was closer and had like a knife on the rope. And as you come in, you take a swing at him with your sword and sort of lunge forward. And he manages to roll out of the way of your sword, but had to release the rope to do so. So he sort of rolled into a ball, like just boat fighter style, right? Like he just like rolled on his back, and then he sort of clambers back to his feet with the knife in one hand, like just really low to the ground. But he did have to release the rope, so both ropes are free, and he's now like sort of facing you, and knife drawn. So you're not really hit him, but you forced him to dodge out of the way, which means he sort of stopped cutting the rope. All right. In the meantime, you hear volleys of shots coming from your ship, and you see some of the Marines actually taking those shots. If any of you look back, you'll see a few of the gunners there with Ricardo. He sort of is there and has arranged them into like a little bit of a firing line, and they're basically preparing a second volley. As he hands his musket to somebody else, another musket is sort of coming his way. You see some of the boarding party, Magnus leading the charge, but you also see Natasha is here. Ernesto appears on the deck, basically just finessing his way while fighting a few of the Marines. He's sort of taking his time. He doesn't seem like he's that pressed to go far onto the ship. He's going through the motion. You see that the defense line has formed itself on your ship in case there is a counterboarding happening. Surprisingly led by your boss, Marilena. Ibrahim, the cook, is there with like what looks like a large cleaver, machete. You're not quite sure, but like he's standing up, sort of waiting, almost daring anybody to break through the line and come towards the ship.
I don't think people want to come here. They're dumb to do.
The captain is barking orders at this point. You see that the rigging is getting down a little bit to prevent the ship from dragging or swaying some other way. They're keeping the same momentum and keeping the ship where it is. All right. That will be it for this turn. No real action coming in from the other ship. They haven't yet made attempts to cut the ropes, but they might actually try to cut them from their side. They're not, some of them seem to be like keeping an eye and paying attention. Like they seem like they're doing some damage control on their ship. Especially in spots where it looks like it's been hit by cannons, they're sort of taking advantage of the chaos. But there's no real action to join the fray or really run away at this point.
Oh, kind of want to read them.
Who do you want to read? You can't do a mass read.
No, but it's mostly because I feel like everybody's got the other boat taken care of. So I want to figure out what these other people are up to or what they're about. Can I tell?
I'll let you run me a Wispless notice to try to identify.
Like somebody.
If you have sailing, you could roll that.
No. Maybe I will have sailing.
Or warfare. While this is happening, feel free to
9.
give it 9. Okay. You see two people discussing that you believe are some of the. If one of them is not the captain, they're high ranked on the ship. You assume one of them is probably the captain.
Okay.
Two bearded gentlemen. One of them is more stocky and muscular. One of them has like an almost scholarly look to him. He looks like sort of dignified, has like a strong military bearing.
So there's a muscular beardy dude and a scholarly dude.
Yep. They both have beards.
As they should.
Mm-hmm.
So you get to take a pick.
Okay. I'm gonna choose the scholarly guy.
Okay. Then you're doing a read.
So wait, is this like 3 the next turn?
Yeah.
Okay.
It will be.
Because I'm in technically position.
Yeah. Your read doesn't involve a roll, so.
Sort of did.
His virtue is the Emperor commanding.
Okay.
His hubris is the witch, manipulative.
Okay.
All right.
I think my actual role is going to involve some sort of scholarship thing to try to think about why these other people are there.
Sure. Okay. All right. Approaches for the next round.
So for my duel,
Yep.
basically, I want to let him come in with his, what is he rocking, a cutlass, a rapier, a side sword?
Cutlass, yep.
Nice. With my axes, I'm going to run a brawn plus weaponry. And basically, I want to catch the cutlass and then snap it.
Okay. All right.
And if I get enough phrases, I might add some English onto the end of that.
Yeah, I'll let you know, since you're basically meaning his attempt, you're basically going to have to beat the number of raises they'll have. So I'll let you know how many raises he's pouring into his attack. And that's
Sure.
how much you'll pull, and whatever extra you get to get some extra effects on top of that.
All right.
Okay. Anybody else?
I mean, I'm still taking people down.
Yeah, Jimena's gonna take on this knife dude.
Okay.
Fight the knife man.
Enemy of the day, man? There you go.
There you go. That's the mustard I was looking for.
So I'm going to do some shooting.
Shoot that thing at me.
Shoot all the clowns.
Start blasting.
Oh, math. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, that good Sunday night.
Mm-hmm. Let's see here. 9. 15. Nice. Nice. All right. Woo. 2, 4, 6, 8.
I'm rolling to shoot things, by the way. Since I know it's
You shoot.
Aim.
You shoot good.
Are you shooting? What's your target, Evie?
What would be the funniest?
Someone in the ass.
Shoot someone in the ass. Yeah.
It's always choice.
Maybe in the area where the most incompetent seeming things are happening.
Well, there is what looks like potentially an officer trying to come and put order into the chaos that you and Marilena put together.
Yeah.
So there is somebody sort of rolling in, trying to reorganize the troops there.
That guy.
Clearly, that will not happen if you kill this guy.
I'll wait until he says something commanding and inspiring or something like that. But I got 10 raises.
Oh, I just want to get their hopes up. This is the dancing again.
That's right. Crush their hopes.
I'd like my hold my action to humiliate.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, it's a tried and true staple of the swashbuckling genre. So. Kenya, how many raises have you got?
That's 7.
Okay.
Bring all these fuckers down.
I'm still getting to the last choices about now.
Rethold.
So, plus the 2 I had banked, I have 11 raises total. So, how did the good captain do?
Well, the good captain had a fairly decent roll, but he basically lunged at you with his cutlass and poured all 7 of his successes into it. Meaning, if you spend the 7, you'll be able to catch and braid his cutlass, and you have 4 extra with your 11. He's out, by the way. Like, there's no way for him to because he lunged, so he poured all of his successes in.
All right, then I'm gonna use. Let's see. I nicked him in the face with the first axe, right?
Yep.
Go put an arm in his face then.
All right. You know what? I'm just gonna go for it. I'm going to drop the other 4 raises in, and I'm going to headbutt him to try and knock him the hell out. Because we want him alive.
Yeah.
Do we?
I do. That's ransom money. That's demoralization.
I mean, does Jenya know this?
She doesn't care as long as he's not moving.
Yeah. She's not fighting the captain right now either. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's still around when I'm finished, maybe.
So those 4 gonna give me the nighty night, or do I need to drop a hero point?
At this point, just because he has nothing else, so you see him walk towards you, right? Like, and he's keeping eyes locked. And at some point, as he steps closer, he takes like a long step towards you and just sort of arcs his cutlass, right? Like in a move you're traditionally used to see with sabers, like basically trying to go straight for the jugular, catch you unprepared, and then you basically just move your head out of the way, catch it with your hand, and just snap that cutlass down. And before he has a moment or even registered what happened, you pull on the cutlass and just headbutt the fuck out of him. It makes a very satisfying crunch. You're pretty sure you feel one of his teeth just shatter against your forehead.
Yeah.
Definitely his nose has broken in at least 3 places. Because you was still in the forward momentum of that lunge, and you basically just met him. He ended his move at your head. So, like, he lunges forward and then snaps. Like, you see his head snap backwards. He's definitely out, and will be for a while. For a second, you're like, oh, and you pause just to see that you don't hear like a death rattle coming.
I might have overdone it.
But
keep him alive.
Did not occur to me at the moment.
But you pause and you're like, oh, okay, I think we're good. Like you see the chest rise a little bit, if a little labored, but he's out, but he ragdolled. He's not dead. The man with the hat catches your eyes at that very moment and sees his captain's blood on your face from his nose. And you sort of like, you raise your hand, like just coming out of the headbutt, and he looks at you and he drops the hat and runs for the back of the ship.
Where are you even gonna run on here, man?
He looks like he's about like 16. He's not getting in on that action.
Wait, maybe I was
He's actually running towards the front and might take a plunge. You're not quite sure. But yeah, most of you who are on the deck actually see that. You see the captain just basically gets his weapon snapped and then go down. You hear like almost like silence, like when you hear like rumbling for a while and then like it stops, how it's super noticeable, and you realize that like Magnus has stopped yelling for a moment, and when the captain hits the deck, it restarts again with renewed vigor.
I did want to say that, like, if I get like eye contact with anyone afterwards, I basically just want to shoot eyes at Magus and just start screaming with him right after. But, like, I was gonna wait, but it's there.
You both start together like two wolves howling at the moon, except it's a lot more raw and guttural. Yeah, he uses that as momentum too, as he continues the assault. All right, Evine.
Yes.
You basically lay in wait, almost perversely, as you wait for this guy. He extends a hand to one of the guys and manages to raise him to his fist. And the moment he starts, he's like, "These are not ghosts, they're men. Just pull yourself together." And your arrow is loose. And as he tries to finish the pull yourself together, he coughs a disgusting amount of blood on the guy raised up.
Yes.
But you're wrong. They are ghosts.
Like this guy just got lifted to his feet and he's looking at this other dude and suddenly like, he's splattered in blood in his face. The tip of your arrow is coming out of his throat and the guy just topples forward.
Yes.
So bad.
Yeah.
And she says, this will make a great song.
We don't have much dice in the pool to pull from. So This guy in that moment has decided that this man was wrong. You clearly are ghosts.
Yes.
And he was his superior was just smoked for trying to challenge that. So
He talked shit about the storm rabbit.
Yep.
he disengages and goes towards the spike, both hands up in the air, like just take me
Call
in.
off your
Like, he's
ghosts.
in front of the gunner. It's like I surrender. Like he's done. He's done.
Yep.
Ooh, do I see him?
Yes, you do.
Then I would be like, grab your captain. He surrendered too.
He looks down at the captain. Like by that point, the captain's face looks like he got stung by bees. He doesn't look good. And he sort of looks at you and down and he doesn't say anything. And like his head starts like nodding like that. And first down. And unceremoniously just drags the captain by the legs until he can,
That's, yeah.
grab and carry him.
Oh,
So yes, your resounding hit has caused a morale loss. We're just not having any luck right now. All right. Jenya, the wrestling continues.
It's breaking bones.
Yeah, at this point,
I thought Tenchu the Legend continues.
The fourth book in the series.
I'm basically just using my hunting blades as brass knuckles. Like,
yes.
I don't need the blades.
At this point, you basically are like getting yourself to your feet by sticking the knives into whatever is below you, whether it's dead people, and you're just like standing up. Are you pouring all 7 of your raises into?
Is that going to kill my 6 so I can move on to another set?
It's going to kill your 6.
Then I will pour my 7.
There is a lot of action happening in Jenya's corner. Like it's almost like a dog pile for a second, right? And she's shorter than most of them, so she's like low to the ground, like low center of gravity, right? And wielding knives, so it's like it's real grimy, like it's not pretty. It's like dirty fighting, right? And after a moment, like you see guys sort of toppling over. One of them falls on his legs and it just like bends like super wrong, right? Like it's ugliness, right? And you see arms come up with the knives and just like stabbing and coming up. By the time she comes out, she is covered in blood. Just like straight out. She looks like a fucking crazy beast that just rolled out of a bush with like just looking like rabid and crazed eye, right?
And I'm
like,
not even a beast yet.
No.
They don't even know.
Right now you look like one. Like your blades are just like coated with blood, right? Not everybody on the ground is dead. Like quite a few are dead. A few of them are crippled.
Just maimed.
Yes, they might need to be put down. You're not quite sure. You might have to drag a couple of them behind the shed and
Saren just spits out blood and goes, "Suffer."
Yep. Step on a couple as you come out. Right next to Magnus. Just in time for him to sort of like grab, like you covered in blood, like he looks at you like you're a fucking like Valkyrie. Like he is like, you're my sister now, right? Like he has the look in his eyes and he just like he grabs you by the shoulder and he's like, back to back. And he sort of steps behind you with his axe.
Yes.
Looking just as crazy as you do. And go bowling into more of those Marines.
Yes.
Man.
Just savage.
All right. Jimena, you have 5. What are you doing with this guy? Are you pouring all 5 into a maneuver? Are you...
Before she does anything, she kind of looks around for a second, and she just kind of turns to him and she's like, "Look around you."
What's like, the smart move here?
Like, you see that pile over there? That's your captain. You see that pile over there? That's the rest of your crew.
As he looks, his captain has both arms like over his head, like that, is being dragged by his legs.
Yeah, it's like, there he goes.
Mira.
Like that axe, that axe is in your first mate. I'm not really sure why you're drawing your knives on me.
By the way, she's not dead yet, and for a second, you almost feel bad for her because she's still doubled over. Like the axe, you see the axe handle is still coming out, and she's losing a lot of blood. But she got stuck in the gut, and you're like, that cannot be pleasant.
So she's just like, "Do you really want to fight me? Is that really what you want to do right now?"
Do you really want to?
So, if you pour all 5 of your successes, since you roll a finesse roll, the opportunity you'll have is that you'll basically, after you deliver your speech, you'll get to do one swift lunge and disarm him of his knife.
Okay. Yeah, that's what she does. What is that noise? Is that from over there?
I think it's my chair.
Oh.
So yeah, as he looks around, like you see his stance getting more and more uncertain, and then suddenly, like he jolts a little bit as you take a move forward, and his knife basically gets tossed out of his hands. You see it like hit the railing of the ship and then spin gracefully as it topples overboard.
So poetic.
So yeah, now your sword is raised at his throat, and it doesn't take long. Like he's still maintaining the stance for like about a second or two, and eventually, like he just sort of relaxes. His knees don't unbend, like he stays sort of rolled in a ball, but his hands are sort of slowly coming up.
Yeah, she takes her sword back and just sort of like taps him on the shoulder, like, good. And then she walks over towards the first mate.
And die. Sorry.
He sort of stays in the stance, like with his hands up as he's walking you, like looking at you, like walk away, like no, like what's gonna happen to you now? What is this?
You're doomed. What did I get for mine?
So you had 5.
What the hell are these custom people doing?
So you're trying to figure out their intent, right?
Or like what, based on what I know of the nation, why would they be here? What do they have against the Quentin people, and or what does Quentin have against them?
Well, so with that much scholarship, you know that part of the reason why they're not flying colors is likely because Crescent's not really seen super well around here, especially because of the church, and especially in this part of the world. You're sort of in between. You're in between Castille and Montaigne right now. The Crescent are sort of, they're dirty. They're infidels, right? Like they're not well seen by the church, right? And you know this because Vodace trades with them to some degree. You know the merchant princes do it, even though they pretend to the church that they don't. Right?
I mean, how can not?
They're more common in San Felipe because San Felipe doesn't care as much. It's so much of a melting pot that even if the church objects, there's enough other elements and other interests at play there that they manage to get a foothold. But normally, open trade with the Crescent is sort of, it's frowned upon. They're very worried about the Crescent having a foothold into any of the good, pious nations, right? So they don't want to give them too much power there. So trade, if it's trade, it's probably the illicit kind. It may be a private ship that is transporting someone or something, right? But it does look, to your eye anyway, just because that's all the experience you have in Vodace is with merchant fleets.
Okay.
It looks like a ship that could hold cargo, but again, merchants in this part is unlikely unless they got some illegal stuff.
Okay.
Or something unsavory.
Can I infer from this that the monsoon ship thought they had an easy mark and found out they were wrong? And then we came along and we got
you think that's a likely scenario.
Okay.
Especially with the information that you all managed to gather previously. The colors that the Montaigne ship flies are basically like a privateer fleet working for Nautical. They're pirates with better outfits. They just got more money for matching coats and fancy gear, but in all but name they're pirating, right? Like they're raiding other ships for supplies, and they're primarily in the human cargo department, which for some of
that is why me and my ex-slave dude we're like, nah.
For some of the richer families, in Montaigne is, more than acceptable. You get some good slave labor to work your lands, and you don't have to lift a finger.
If the Montaigne ship is doing that, then what sort of illegal stuff do I think the Crescent ship has? Or is that something I just don't know anything about?
You can only speculate at this point.
Okay, so we're like, okay, which one's the worst? The worst illegal? I don't know.
Right.
Anyway, I give whatever intel I can come up with to Captain Anai.
Sure. You pass that info to her, and she pauses from giving some orders for a second, and her brow just furrows a little bit at that. And she said, it's a little odd. I admit we don't see many Crescent ships out here. Usually they don't risk doing any trade up these waters for these reasons, primarily because privateers are not going to be frowned upon for scuttling a Crescent ship. Let's just say that there's less questions asked as to the legality of it.
I also mentioned that I point at the person that I think is either somebody who is in command or somebody who has a lot of knowledge as far as if we're gonna talk to people on the Crescent ship, like this person right here.
She takes a moment to sort of look at it and the way they interact, and there's a couple other people that sort of come to the pair like a few times, and After just a little bit of observation, she points to the muscular dude and says, "That's the captain." The other person is a VIP. He doesn't seem to be commandeering the ship, but it seems like the captain is taking shots from him, maybe?
So some sort of official who has the authority to order the captain in some way.
Could be. That would be my guess.
Right?
Either that's his ship, or maybe that's his merchandise. That makes me doubly curious.
Yes. It does seem that we've mostly hit with the other ship.
Won't be long now.
Anyway, that's all I got.
Yep. She sort of peers over, and like a lot of the crew from your ship is sort of helping bring order to that chaos. Won't be long now until they're fully toppled over. So I'll let you guys take one last action. Feel free to give me an approach on that based on what you want to do. Either if you want to fight more folks, or if you want to try to intimidate them, whatever it is. At this point, it's remnants, and there's chaos among the ranks.
Jimena's going over to the the axed first mate.
Yep.
And basically just being like, you know, you're going to die. I could help you with that.
She coughs, and then you see her eyes sort of turn up in a "I'm listening." She doesn't seem to have the breath to say that in that moment. She sort of props herself to one knee. Her shoulders straighten up slightly as she looks at you.
I also would come over as I see this happening, and I sort of nudge Jimena, and I say to her, "What is your name?"
She struggles a little bit to take a breath, and then she says, "Sylvie Beaumont." That took some doing.
No, for the world.
She's looking pretty pale.
And I salute her as Jimena finishes the deed.
She sort of looks between you, Rethold, and Jimena, and you hear a whispered "thank you." And in one last moment, like she sort of props herself against the side of a barrel. Rethold, she grabs your axe and just pulls it out of her guts and sort of hands it to you. And then she looks at Jimena as she's just like spilling blood everywhere, and you hear like the slightest "do it."
Mm-hmm. Well, I got 5 raises to just.
Yep.
Give her a.
Yeah. I accept it like, you know, someone's handing me a birthday present, so.
Oh, thanks.
I grabbed the other one out of the barrel above her head.
Yep. And she topples over Jimena. It's a clean hit. She dies immediately. Anybody else taking one more action as this is getting
I'm here for as many bodies as I can get.
Oh yeah, both you, anybody who has not surrendered at this point, who still has a fight in them, and there's a few. It's between you and Magnus at this point. Just going at both of those, and it ain't pretty. And you work your way through the last remnants. You're gutting them and felling them, and it ends with Magnus's axe like around in the back of the head of one of the sailors, and he just like gives a good jerk towards him, and you hear a snap.
Yes.
As he just lets the sailor topple down, and then he just bellows out like anyone else? And he sort of looks over the railing to see if there's anybody like hanging to the ship.
Yeah. If you're hiding, you're cowards, and you'll kill you slower.
Yeah, there's nobody. The ones that have surrendered raise their arm higher. As they see sort of turn towards them.
Please realize we're surrendering. This is our surrender phase.
Please don't rip my throat out with your mouth.
Right. But tell
Oh
me,
no! How are you going to do that?
Jenny actually does take a minute to check around for her for Ricardo.
Then you might want to walk away because something's going to sound real good in a moment. So, JC walked over with a mask, like a beauty mask on, and she's like, "Don't make me laugh because it'll shift it." And I'm like, "Well, you best go away because there's nothing but giggles over here."
Right.
Oh, thank you, Rabbit. It's the one Rabbit Center.
Oh, nice.
Welcome.
Yeah, you actually see Ricardo. He's just past the spike at this point, and he's helping with the people that have surrendered. He has one of his pistols in the left hand and his sword in the other, and he's helping the crew sort of take prisoners. They're basically passing like chains around.
Okay.
And as he sees you, like he looks at you and then sort of sees you just covered in blood from head to toe.
Smile.
And there is an appraising look, and then he sort of lifts his sword in a salute as he sees you standing with bodies all around.
Nothing but blood.
I had really hoped there'd be a moment where I could start singing Investin and then like make it look like Zhenya was being turned into a bear by the music. Freak people the fuck out.
Oh, that would have been so fun.
Right?
Next ship.
Yeah, next ship.
Yeah. There will be more. You, Zhenya, as firmly planted as you are, you feel yourself stumbling forward slightly as you get a firm hit between your shoulder blades from Magnus, who's just at this point just laughing like a throaty laugh.
Yes.
His voice is just like hoarse. And then you see him, he goes towards Rethold too. Rethold, you get an arm around your neck, and he yells to the other ship, and he's like, "Captain, can we hire these permanent?"
Oh, that is nice, but I have to go back to my land.
She sort of like is like, what? He's like, that's not up to me. He's sort of like carrying the axe and he's letting the head sort of drag like on the deck, right? And you notice he does it specifically as he passes by like the prisoners, right? Like just letting the axe drag. And right before he steps on the spike, like he just does a little moves like to one of them who just like flinches away, and then he just laughs as he crosses over back to the other ship.
Nice.
The captain actually crosses over to this ship, and she's accompanied by the quartermaster and the bursar, and she's like, I don't want to say this is my favorite part because, you know, it's probably second, but one of my favorite parts is now we get to take stock of what is in this ship and what we can carry over.
I'm standing there nodding the entire time, and after she says that, I'm like, yes, I didn't break a sweat, so I'm ready to carry chests.
What is the other ship then? The crescent ship? Are they still just there? Or they're just like, okay, that was
Yeah,
nice,
now that the promotion has started, you see that they're starting to remove the ropes between the two ships.
They don't want to be caught with us either, I'm sure.
The captain sort of looks at the rest of you and she's like, what are your thoughts? I'm a little loath to let them go away. I will admit I'm a little curious.
Honestly,
but I don't know.
Use that as a pretext to talk to them.
We saved them. It would be rude if they didn't say thank you.
Yeah, we're also pirates.
I am not a pirate.
Pirates can have manners.
And then it just goes back over to where the ropes are, where she had just been. And she just sort of waves over at the other ship.
Hello.
Like,
you see one of the crescents on the other side, like just like very slowly, and then like he sort of turns towards the two important looking people, and there's like an exchange of words, and it looks like there's sort of the angle the ship towards the crippled ship, who is not yet taking water, so it's crippled pretty bad. There's no possibility. I mean, you could potentially tow her, but it doesn't look like the captain of La Baleine Blanche wants to do that. They're probably gonna scuttle it after it's been plundered. But
by the way, are there any like cargo in there? Because if so, I would like to help take care of that.
Sure, like if you go help do a cursory check while the other ship is coming towards you, it looks like you guys are gonna meet on the crippled ship as it's sort of neutral ground, right? On neither of your ships. Yeah, if you assist and go with that, there's a lot of cargo in there that doesn't seem to be human cargo.
But there is nothing in cargo.
No.
Okay. That's a slight idea. That's right.
No, there's a lot of good stuff though. You hear some whistles as there's some valuables. There's a fair amount of food.
There's cloth. I want it.
Yep, there is some cloth, and there's a fair amount of gunpowder, and some weaponry, which Honoré's crew is actually pretty happy about because it seems like there's some decent quality weapons on board. So a few folks might be trading up. So as you busy yourself with that, the other ship sort of comes a little bit closer. They bring a gangplank on, and it seems like the crippled ship is now, it's Elysium, it's neutral ground between the two ships. So
I saw what we can do, so maybe take those precautions.
The two gentlemen come around, accompanied by a lady. The two gentlemen are the same ones that you saw earlier, the two bearded folks. One more muscular than the other. The other has more of a scholarly look about him. The lady is wearing some loose clothes, but you see that she's fit. That lady's probably been in a few scraps. She accompanies the both of them, and they sort of step on board. And as they come across captain to captain, there's a couple very polite handshakes being exchanged. And then the scholarly looking gentleman says, "Thank you for coming to our rescue when you did. I do not know what we would have done if you had not come and saved us. We do have a few Marines on board, but I'm afraid that we are not equipped to deal with these kinds of operations. My name is Nasir Saif. This is my ship. We are on our way to the northern area of Montaigne to secure an agreement with a gentleman of noble birth from that area." Seems a little loath to say more than that. He indicates the muscular man and says, "This is Farid, the ship's captain. And this is Ehefa, who is taking care of ship security." She nods. She hasn't stopped eyeing all of you when the conversation started.
Zhenya's using the end of her braid to wipe the blood off her face.
There you go. You get most of it. Some of it just like spread a little bit. So you get a little bit of a rosy face, but you know.
Just friendly.
Yep. Some of it has dried at this point.
By the way, are they actually even trying to claim anything on the ship at this point? Okay.
Not at all.
We're the ones who didn't actually work for this. So I guess what I say is like, wait, did I notice that? Did I notice the whole thing with like there were fewer Montaigne there than there should have been type thing?
Yeah, I think that information got shared.
It does not seem you suffered too much in the process, fortunately.
Well, we were fortunate. You came in at the right moment to save us. Everybody roll me a wits plus notice.
I'm good.
Yep, you can use empathy. If you have empathy, use empathy.
Actually, what I'd like to do is pipe up at that moment while everyone's sort of like, I'm going to just outright say, well, if you're meeting with a Montaigne gentleman, maybe a gift would be in order. And I like gesture towards the unconscious captain. And I'm like, I don't know if I don't know if you're carrying any stores of money, but I believe a gift of purchase is not a bad idea.
I'm sure it would help quite a bit in those negotiations. You're being quite generous. Is there anything you're requesting for such a generous gift? I'm seeing a 5. I'm seeing a 2. How much do you have, Evine? 8?
7.
7?
Yep.
3?
3 for
I have 4.
I've got 10.
10? Empathy?
Mm-hmm.
empathy, yeah.
Okay. With the 3 empathy, you can't discern much outside of that. What you can tell is this man is well spoken, right? He probably does that as a trade. I mean, if he secures business deals, that probably comes with the territory, right? But that makes it all the harder to sort of discern intent.
That's not my forte.
Yeah, you're like, this guy knows us trade, and I'm probably not gonna know if he's lying to me because he that's what he does. With 10,
I already read him too, so
yeah, he's leaving some details of the trade arrangement deliberately vague. You're not quite sure why.
even that much, wow. But I mean, can I at least get a vibe of this is something like, I don't know, something that I would find morally objectionable, like personally? Because if it isn't, then I'm just going to leave it.
You get the sense that he might be hiding it because he doesn't know what you find morally objectionable.
Oh.
And doesn't want to elicit a potential reaction.
I think the only thing that I would want in return is to see what you have in your cargo. I don't want any of it. I just want to see it.
Zhenya, who is trusting, believes all his lies and gets a hero point.
Yeah. The finest that the Crescent Empire has to offer.
It's so well spoken. He knows what he says.
Yeah. So I hear what Marilena says.
Yep.
And I sort of look over at our captain and I go, yes, I think once we have a lay of what you have to offer, we can then discuss proper payment.
Indeed.
Evine, the lady has blood on her.
It's a vampire.
Like she got in a scuffle recently, and the blood was wiped out, but she didn't wipe all of it. Not enough for your eye.
I think that she's, by the way, like halfway down the pole.
Like a gargoyle.
Am I gonna have to go back up? Good.
Don't make me go back up.
On there now.
Like arms around the pole. Yeah. If you ask to see the merchandise, like he sort of takes off his little spectacles and wipes them off and says, I'm sure you would, but as you can probably imagine, a trade agreement with somebody from Montaigne and someone from the Crescent Empire is, shall we say, not entirely well seen, shall we say, by some interests from your lands. As such, I was asked for complete discretion, and this is what my client will get. I'm afraid I cannot allow you to see my cargo.
No, then I must know. Is your cargo alive?
He pauses for a moment, and you see, like, you suddenly feel like the lady has stepped one step closer to you. She's looking at you now, like, real intently.
I look at her.
Can I use my whispery thing to communicate with everyone but Zhenya? Because she'll be like,
You see the stars in Jenya's eyes, right?
I'm like, she's drinking the Kool-Aid. I don't want to hurt. And just be like, she's got blood on her. Recent blood. That's not a metaphor. Literal blood on her hands.
He looks at you and then puts his spectacles back on and is like, how would you define that term?
To be blunt, I am talking about humans that are unwilling, because I have very much an issue with that, and I believe at least a few others on my ship does as well.
I let the leather of my axes on my belt creak ominously.
You feel the tenseness. Honoré is just quiet as a grave. She's watching this unfold, and you see her thumb in her belt, like close to her pistol.
I also, after speaking that, I look at the lady who looks like she's trying to get closer to me and just read her.
You read her?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, no, as you look at her, she's looking at you. Like,
yeah, I just need those eyes.
She looks like a bird of prey.
Look at her, she looks at me.
Right.
But it isn't noticeable yet. Like, she's not mean mugging her, right? She just sort of like shifted in that direction.
Intently looking, right? She's just very quiet.
Okay.
The captain hasn't really said much. Like the more muscular dude, like at this point, he's sort of doing the same, right? Like he's not taking any hostile action, but you can tell he's loosening up in a shit might hit the fan any second now.
I kind of hope my chef is going to back me up on this. He's a big dude. I'm not a big dude.
Nothing
in there.
Her virtue is coins.
Okay.
Adaptable.
Okay.
Her hubris, relentless.
What is that one? Okay.
You see, like the captain, like the scholarly man, like he puts his spectacles back on, and he's looking like he might be taking a step back, like any second. He's very much positioned between himself and the woman, and he sort of looks at you and says, "I'm afraid I must ask for more clarification."
How much more is there than that? You have slaves.
Well, how do you qualify human?
Ooh. Ooh. Does this finally ruffle my feathers?
Roll me a just straight wits, Eugenia.
I'm not sure how to.
Clearly, she doesn't know what animals mean. That's fine.
One.
Comfortably low moment, Eugenia, with your fists on your hips like this, and you're like, does he have people on the ship? Like there's a long, like, the gears are turning, right? Like,
oh, you're the internet explorer.
So
a problem.
He's not saying the word, but he says, well, would you describe oxen this way?
So it's pretty apparent to everyone but Jenya that there is human chattel in his hold.
You're all but certain.
All right. Then I'd like to hear a point, please, because I'm just going to start walking through them towards the ship. And I'm like, well, then let's go look.
And these are laborers. Is that what I'm getting? Or like, what are you at?
Are the people we were talking to, were they Montaigne?
What was that?
Or the people we were talking to, are they Montaigne?
No, they're present.
No.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Like, I would have been suspicious of those bitches.
Okay, well.
Roll me a trade finesse roll, Rethold, as you're striding through.
Oh, finesse?
Yep.
Not panache?
No, not for this one.
All right.
You got your hero point as your reward for your panache.
Yeah.
Can I just slap him? Like straight up.
He's not in slapping range.
Can I walk up to him and slap him?
You're gonna have to walk over this woman.
Can I pull her and then slap him?
Well,
Well, if she does anything to Marilena, I would be on her like white on rice.
Because I want to slap him. I've got.
Sorry, not even. Just one. Just one finesse.
Just brawn and roll me panache. And let's roll panache for this.
Oh, I can do brawn too.
Either or, whichever you'd like. And athletics or brawl for this one.
Oh yeah. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. So yeah, brawn plus brawl.
Yep.
We're round 2. Starting. Oh yeah.
We're just gonna take them both.
You know, that seems to be what's happening here because they're not giving us answers that we like, and the good captain didn't say anything, so it's party time. All right. So as you see Rethold start to push his way onto the ship, which we'll see how many raises he gets. I'm wondering what everyone is thinking.
Pushing and probably needs lashes, but okay.
Let me resolve
Sure.
what happens here because this will 100% inform what you do next.
Okay.
Inching back up the pole.
That's right. You're like, I knew there was a reason I wasn't coming down.
Invest into Rethold. Have these people done something wrong?
I say the word invest in for
Slavers? Assholes.
I try to communicate it to her. You know, I try to find the equivalent to someone who disrespects the earth and its creatures, like just a
cage elephant.
a gnarly slur. Yeah, I'm like you know there's something like grass treader or something, something ridiculous.
Rethold being the star that he is, he communicates it to you, invested in a way that it's more or less like these people spit in the face of the gift of creation that the earth has given us.
So yeah, that's 10 raises.
Okay. So Rethold, you take 3 wounds and you're unmoved as almost imperceptibly as you start to walk past through. This woman is suddenly to your side and just like knifed you in the side. But you're so you're so steady that it didn't, almost unfazed. Like the knife gets pulled out and there's like a little rivulet of blood that comes to stain your pants, and you just like look her down.
No, I say, I look at the wound as I walk and I say, do more and I might get mad.
At that moment, you hear in Montaigne, for those of you who speak the language, a bande de Sadra from the captain, and you hear the detonation of the pistol as she shoots the captain in the shoulder.
Wait, the noble guy or
the other one?
Oh, the actual captain?
She shoots the ship's captain.
Okay.
So the good captain on our side shoots the bullshit captain. Thank you.
Correct.
Okay.
I feel like that clarifies things for a second. Oh, this is the one we're shooting at this one.
She ain't waiting.
If Zhenya sees the blood on Rethold, she grows white and furry.
Oh, there we go. Maybe I have a chance for this game.
Yeah, I guess I might start singing. We'll see.
And there we go.
Now can I slap him?
He's out of your reach. You can't slap the captain. You just got to try.
Sounds good. I don't like this noble guy.
Because what immediately happens after this is that the girl is on the scholarly man, and immediately, she's almost carrying him. She's running towards their ship.
You're going to get away?
Not faster than me.
Yeah.
There will be an attempt.
So now we're just effective at this point, I guess.
Yeah. They don't seem to care whether they leave their ship's captain there or not.
That's harsh.
Jimena reaches to her belt and flicks the brazier and just launches a fucking fireball out in front of them that they can't on the other end of the gangplank.
I mean, if I don't know where I'm going to be in the turnover.
Roll me finesse and athletics.
I'm definitely going to try to flip them.
Oh, damn it.
Oh, where'd he go?
Is Rethold between the Crescent captain and the woman and their ship?
Oh my god, stop.
Yep. You are at this one. You move past the captain.
Okay, because I think if they get to the gangplank while I'm still there, I'm just going to try and shove them off into the water.
Sure, you can probably try to get to them.
Oh no, I'm already on the ship or what?
No, so you're on the ship. They're past you on the gangplank, but they're close enough that you can probably try to catch up to them.
Because they were already on the same ship.
Oh,
No,
so I'm
you're
already
not.
on the Crescent's ship?
They
Or?
haven't crossed yet.
Okay.
Okay. So I got 3.
Okay. You see people massing on the other side, ready to sort of get the scholarly dude, and your makeshift grenade sort of sails past them to the other side of the gangplank, and sort of splashes there, and does create some fire to jump over, right? So they come at a full stop. The gangplank is sort of wobbling a little wildly. The lady just puts the man down near the fire, and then she yells something in Crescent, Evie, you speak Crescent, right? So she yells to them, "Come get the Lord. He will need your help crossing over." And she drops some deckened dagger out of her clothes and starts walking back down the gangplank towards you guys.
Oh, shit. So, I said, I'm not reporting him, and I'm gonna, but the company got shot.
Yep.
He's not dead, right?
No, he got shot, like he got clipped here in the shoulder.
So, I want to use converse on him and tell him, like, tell me what is really going on here.
Okay. I'm gonna roll that. We'll do one more action. I know it's late for you.
Yeah.
May I also use
this is gonna be our beginning. Yeah, you can use it. This is gonna be our beginning situation for next turn. Next game, sorry. Seven. He looks at you, and there is a mix of. He's obviously unhappy, but there is fear in his eyes also. And as you ask him, like, what is really going on, he says, a very lucrative trade deal between very dangerous people. You don't know what you just stepped into.
We are very dangerous too.
Did you not just see what my one little girlfriend did?
Yeah.
It's like, sir, we have a bear.
Yeah, there will be no survivors to tell the tale. So
you drew first blood and you hurt my brother, so everyone's going down.
Even from your perch up top, you can see like a bunch of soldiers like awkwardly trying to reach over the fire, and they're trying to get like this dude over the gangplank that is starting to burn away. There's a chance it might collapse.
If Jimena sees that,
yeah.
If Jimena sees it, then she pulls the fire up farther.
Okay. There is commotion as the man just like falls further back on his back, and then he basically yells at somebody else left on the boat. Even you hear this as, we need to kill all of them, and if we don't succeed, destroy the evidence.
The Africans.
The scholarly man like makes one last look towards you guys' boat, and then basically plummets into the water below. From behind you, you hear again from Magnus as he jumps over, axe at the ready.
Another.
No, I effectively say as much to the captain on the ground. There will be no survivors, and I start singing a song about Ragnarok but it specifically in Thean reference bears of myth and monster, like specifically flavoring in what I know Genia's form typically takes. as I walk calmly across the gangplank or towards the gangplank, I would like to use Panache plus Intimidate to basically shake anything nearby, because I've already been snicked once by their baddest chick and didn't flinch.
Yep. I with everything you described, this one you have. The scholarly dude just plunged into the water. The soldiers are already starting to clear. The moment they see you and hear you, it's all the motivation they need to sort of get the fuck out of Dodge. They clear out. Cautiously, but they clear out.
And then behind him, the small blood-covered girl turns into a large blood-covered bear.
Perfect. And with smoke, you hear, through the smoke, you can hear in the back of the ship Magnus yelling at the rest of the crowds. No time to sit yet. We're gonna ship the cat. He jumps on the crippled ship and basically indicates to the helmsman. The captain basically jumps back on La Baronne Blanche, and they're basically going to try to unwedge and catch up to the other ship while you guys are crossing to the gangplank. Okay, and we will pause it for this evening. We will resume next time with a second ship boarding. Surprise second boarding.
Bonus boarding.
Look inside this boarding operation. It's another boarding operation. It's boarding all the way down.
No canceled flights on this bitch. Everyone's getting on.
Give yourself a full experience, you ridiculous band of pirates.
Oh, XP.
Make me stronger, Shadow Man.
Strength through butt stuff.
Strength through butt stuff.
Strength through butt stuff. That needs to be our new, what do you call it? Our new motto, except just like translate it to Latin or something. God, sympathize. That's so bad.
It's only gonna live.
That's been our motto for years, dude.
Oh, it is?
Yep.
Yeah.
I forgot.
Came up with a long time ago.
Did he give us XP?
He did not.
Yeah. Four.
Oh, I didn't hear it. I was busy giggling.
Okay.
I heard. I listened to you, John.
Hey, that makes one person in my life.
Did I take a risk? Did I take a risk to uncover a secret?
Yes.
Okay, get a point.
You took a risk to uncover slavers. So
I mean, yeah.
I'd say that qualifies.
All right, then, Rabbit, you out?
Yeah.
All right, night, dude.
Good night.
Bye, Amanda. Thanks for playing.
Say good night, Internet.
Good night.
Good night, Internet.
I hope work doesn't like running was hard or something, Amanda, because that really sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They need to stop doing that.
Now that we all